Good afternoon. This is Chemistry A, Unit 1, Atomic Theory, Day 1. Today we are going to talk about the two models of the atom as required. The first model is by a gentleman by the name of Democritus, and the second one is by a name of John Dalton. First of all, Democritus. Democritus suggested that matter is made up of tiny particles that cannot be divided. He called them atoms. Now his idea was spot on. There was a problem with this idea though. His idea did not have scientific evidence backing up his claim. Okay? So his idea was correct, but he didn't have the evidence done by science, done by experimentation, to prove that he was correct. Okay? That was one of the ideas, one of the problems with this theory. The other problem with this theory is that it did not explain chemical behavior. So, number one, it did not explain chemical behavior. In other words, it did not explain why when you take iron and put it with oxygen, we get rust. And the second reason was not based on experimental data and the use of the scientific method. Okay? So Dalton comes along and he says, you know what, Democritus, your ideas are pretty much spot on, but you need evidence to back up your claims, so I'm going to do some experiments. And he does these experiments and he comes up with 4 ideas to his theory. Number one, all elements are composed of tiny particles that are invisible and are called atoms. Number two, atoms of the same element are identical, and atoms of any one element are different from any other element, meaning that all gold atoms are identical. Whether you find the gold in Demdar Hills in California, or if you find the gold here in Michigan, they are identical. And any element that is found different, it will be different. In other words, an element that is gold will never be silver. It will always be gold. So number one, all elements are composed of tiny particles that are invisible and called atoms. And number two, atoms of the same element are identical. The third idea was that atoms of different elements can physically mix together or can chemically combine in simple whole number ratios. This explains how things chemically combine. This explains how iron combines with oxygen to cause rust. And number 4, chemical reactions occur when atoms are separated, joined, or rearranged. Atoms are never changed into atoms of another element during chemical reactions. Let me repeat that. During chemical reactions. During nuclear reactions, that's not true. Chemical reactions, when iron matches up with oxygen, it will always stay as iron, and there will always be oxygen. They are just rearranged to form something new. When we talk about the atom, they're invisible to the naked eye, sure, but they are not invisible to technology. Through the use of a scanning tunneling microscope, we have determined that the radii of most atoms fall within a range of 5 times 10 to the negative 11th meters to 2 times 10 to the negative 10 meters. Now this number here, 2 times 10 to the negative 10 meters, is bigger than 5 times 10 to the negative 11 meters. Whoa, 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 how is 5 times 10 smaller than 2 times 10? Well, remember, when we talk about negatives, the bigger the negative number, the smaller it actually is. Okay? So like I just mentioned a few seconds ago, even though they are small, invisible to the naked eye, we are able to see them with the use of scanning tunneling microscopes. Your assignment: make sure that you read pages 22 and 23 and be ready to discuss the scientific method when we discuss this note guide tomorrow.